Hello.
Hello.
I don't know what episode number this is, but this is Let's Be
25.
Frank.
Isn't it 25? 25, 26?
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere around
We're
there.
getting there. Quarter of a century. That's scary. But welcome to Let's Be Frank, and today we are talking about reflections. Well, not reflections like you see in the mirror. Reflecting.
Reflecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it's a good topic to chat about this week because we're getting towards the end of the year. And I already start hearing people making comments like, oh, this year has gone so quickly. And then also, I still wanted to do this or that. I'll get to it next year.
Yeah.
And personally, I think it's important to reflect on the year. I think we do it naturally, but maybe a little bit more focused to allow yourself some time to sit and reflect on the year and ask yourself specific questions like, what did I achieve this year?
Yeah.
If you had goals for the year, did you achieve those goals? Which ones did you achieve? What was your greatest learning of the year?
Yeah.
Your biggest disappointment of the year?
Yeah.
Because I think we all have some kind of disappointment somewhere in the year. And then from that again, what are the lessons that you can take out of that?
Yeah. And maybe help you set some goals going forward. I don't want to say for the new year because then it sounds like a New Year's resolution that don't always seem to go very well. But I suppose the goals that you want to achieve in the next 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is.
Yeah, so I think that once you've done the reflecting properly,
Yeah.
I think the next step would be to look at what goals you want to set for yourself going forward.
Yeah.
And I agree with the concept of not just having a goal for next year. In 2019, I'm going to do X, Y. It's not sufficient in terms of an urgency and specific enough.
Yeah.
So when I set my goals, I look at what is it that I want to achieve by a specific date.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily tie in with a year.
Yeah.
Depending on the goal that I set for myself. So I actually have goals of which today is the expiry date.
Oh, and how did you do?
I haven't had a chance to reflect. No,
Okay.
I can tell you that out of the 5 goals that I set myself, I've hit 3.5.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel pretty good about that, and I know why I didn't hit the other ones.
Yeah.
One is still in progress,
Okay.
and the last one I just really sucked.
Okay. But it's also something that you mentioned actually in our morning meeting this morning is we must actually challenge ourselves. Don't set a weak goal that you know is going to be easy to achieve.
Yeah.
Actually push yourself. So, not achieving all of your goals is not necessarily a failure. It's the fact that you set big goals.
Yeah,
and it's good to have something big to aspire to.
Yeah, so some of my goals are not really that big, but they require persistence.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I failed. There's one goal in terms of persistence that I failed. Yeah, you've got to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if it's too easy, then you can always postpone it until later. Or you can achieve it too soon,
Yeah.
which means that either your goal wasn't
Yeah.
challenging enough, or you gave yourself too much time.
Yeah.
So I don't mind if you've got a very short-term goal, but then set your goal for that short term. If it's like, I don't know, cleaning your house, for example.
Yeah, don't set that for 30th of November.
Yeah. Yes, so that would be a short term,
Yeah.
and that's fine if that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
And then there are other goals which will require more time, more effort.
Yeah.
You have to learn a new skill. or just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, and sometimes there are those goals that require supporting goals. So, for example, often the exercise and weight goals are one of them. But say your goal is to lose 10 kilograms, that requires you to commit to going to gym, changing your diet, doing these other by much sooner dates than whenever you have aspired to lose the 10 kilograms by.
Yeah, so that's a nice example of, as you say, supporting goals. For me, a goal like that would be something that you can easily, if I say I want to lose 10 kilograms in the next year, it would be I've got 12 months. In other words, divide that total number by the number of months, and then I've got a monthly goal that I can work to. Because otherwise, again, you kind of leave it.
I've still got 6 months. Still got time. Yeah. So we actually did quite a cool exercise. I feel like it was about a year ago, where we, within FiveFriday, we handed out little pieces of paper. It was
more than a year ago.
Was it?
Yes.
It was a mechanism, so it wasn't that FiveFriday needed to know your goals and no one had to share their goals with anyone. It was, we just provided a piece of paper and an envelope and somewhere for them to sit until the date that you had put on that envelope where you got it back to say whether you achieved for yourself, whether you achieved it or not.
Yeah.
And it was quite nice throughout the past year or so, seeing people receive their envelopes and be reminded of these goals that some people might have forgotten about, myself included at times. And I think that it's something that I would like us to try again or do again.
It was a nice initiative. And I like the fact that there's a little bit of accountability. And maybe what we could do slightly different this time around is to have more regular reminders, because if somebody set a goal for 6 months, as you say, you just get that surprise on the day because we all wrote the date on the envelope, and that was the date that envelope came back to you, is to just have reminders in between, like a monthly reminder or a weekly reminder. But I clearly remember receiving my envelope back, and it was a goal that I was really confident about or comfortable with.
Yeah.
And it was great to get that envelope back and to open it and knowing exactly what was on that piece of paper, and I could make a tick.
Yeah.
Said it was done.
Yeah. So I mean, I've already admitted this. My goal from that exercise was to lose 10 kilograms at the time by, I think I gave myself 3 months or 4 months to do it in. And interestingly enough, when I got my envelope back, I hadn't really made many of those small changes to get there, and I hadn't lost the 10 kilograms by that date. But I think within a month or two after that, I did.
You did,
Yeah.
If you had reminders in between,
would
that
think
have
it probably
helped?
would have helped. Like you say, just being held accountable to something that you'd committed to yourself to do.
So being held accountable to yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've spoken about this before too, that some people require some external accountability.
I think external accountability is great.
Yeah.
As you say, this is not about people necessarily telling you exactly what that goal is.
Yeah.
But we've also, I've done an exercise with most of the people in the office earlier in the year where we sat and we defined a goal for 1 month. And it was amazing how many people actually came back and felt that they had achieved that goal.
Yeah.
And those could be work-related or personal goals.
Yeah.
It's a nice habit to get into. I can't tell you for how long I've been doing this, but I have like these annual, I like to call them projects.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're silly and frivolous, but it is a project. It is a goal. It is something that I commit to for that year.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, sometimes they are shorter term goals that I know by a certain date I want to achieve the following. It's just a natural thing for me, and I kind of go through that process probably 2 or 3 times a year, where I sit and review my goals and go through whether it's still a valid goal, have I made enough progress, did I achieve, and just track my progress regularly.
And I mean, you mentioned to me that you might have a template, or that we could put together a template of sorts to share with everyone for that reflection process.
So I do have a template, with a list of questions. It's, I don't know, a dozen or so questions. It's typically those things, like I mentioned earlier, what did you achieve this year, What was your biggest challenge this year?
Yeah.
What did you really suck at this year? So they're not easy questions necessarily. And the purpose of reflection is not to sit and berate yourself, for, what I failed at so many things this year. But it's about the learning that you can gain from that, which is so important in terms of the personal growth. So one of the goals I set myself for this year was to read 50 books this year.
And you smashed it.
I probably did, but I'll have to count and check.
Yeah. Do you have somewhere where you record that? When you finished reading a book, do you check it off somewhere, or?
I do 90% of my readings on Kindle, so I have that record there, and also on Audible.
Yeah.
But I do have a list that I keep. As you know, every now and then I will send out an email to the company saying, hey, these are the books that I've read. This is what I liked about this.
I think you owe us one of those.
I definitely do. I started working on it.
Okay.
And that's why I'm confident that I hit that goal.
Okay.
So I'll send that update in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But that was a really nice goal for me, because that was a year-long commitment, and I never forgot about that commitment.
Yeah.
The commitment to myself. So that was a really nice thing, and I learned a hell of a lot in this year through those books that I read.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure whether I'm going to up that next year.
100 books.
That's probably a bit of a stretch. But maybe I'll try to repeat it next year.
Cool.
So, in terms of reflection, I think it's important before you set goals for the next period is to really spend a good amount of time in terms of reflecting over your goals, if you achieved them or not, if you didn't achieve them, kind of knowing why, understanding that, and just looking back in general over the year that passed, what are those key takeouts that you can get from that year that will set you up for a better 2019. There's so many things that are out of our control, which we have, we just have to deal with. But in terms of ourselves and how we react to situations, there's a lot of learning to be taken out of that reflection. And part of that reflection is also things like, what do I have to be grateful for,
Yeah.
What are the relationships in my life that I have to be, those could be colleagues, personal, etc.
Yeah.
Extremely important, just the things that you have to be grateful for.
Yeah.
Which we so often overlook in terms of, it's so common to hear people go, oh, what a shit year.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and we were talking a bit about Monday blues and wine Wednesdays and all how easy it is to be negative and
because that's so much more popular than just recognizing these small little things that you should be grateful for.
Yeah.
And if you think about back over this year, was there one day that you didn't have anything to wear? Was there one day that you had to go hungry? Was there one night that you didn't have a bed to sleep in or a roof to sleep under? There's a hell of a lot to be grateful for, and we shouldn't forget that either.
Yeah. So we're gonna reflect, and I also think it's important to say that some of the goals that you might want to have for next year, they don't have to wait until next year. You can start right now.
Yeah, please don't wait for next year.
Yeah, and we spoke about this a little bit 2 podcasts ago about tomorrow isn't guaranteed. So.
Yeah, I have a personal problem with people just setting New Year's resolutions or putting things off because it's just the 1st of January. It's just another day.
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to be done and something that you're serious about, set that goal, like you said.
Yeah.
Start with that as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Don't put it off.
But we'll start with the reflections. We'll share that template.
Sure.
And
we'll do envelopes again.
Yeah. So start thinking about what you want to put on those envelopes and be, what's the word that I'm looking for? Intentional about it and challenge yourself.
Yeah.
So cool.
And don't be afraid to ask for an A4 envelope if you've got a long list of goals.
And also don't be afraid to ask someone to hold you accountable. You don't have to, but you can.
Yeah.
I think it's a valuable thing for some people, myself included.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's also great to share with somebody if you achieve that.
Yeah.
Kind of have that support and somebody that can cheer you on.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks, Herman.
Great. Thanks.
Thank you. Cheers.